Welcome to our third installment of the Velveteen Rabbit. It was a wonderful summer. Near the house where they lived was a wood, and in the long June evenings the boy liked to go out after tea and play. He took the Velveteen Rabbit with him, and before he wandered off to pick flowers or play at braggins among the trees, he always made the rabbit a little nest somewhere among the bracken, where he was quite cozy, for he was a kind-hearted little boy, and he liked the bunny to be comfortable. One evening, while the rabbit was lying there alone, watching ants that ran to and fro between his velvet paws in the grass, he saw two strange beings creep out of the tall bracken near him. They were rabbits like himself, but quite furry and brand new. They must have been very well made, for their seams did not show at all, and they changed shapes in a rather queer way when they moved. One minute they were long and thin, and the next they were fat and bunchy, instead of always staying the same like he did. Their feet patted softly on the ground, and they crept close to him, and they twitched their noses while the rabbit stared hard to see which side the clockwork stuck out on, for he knew that people who jump generally have something to wind them up, but he couldn't see it. They were evidently a new kind of rabbit altogether. They stared at him, and the little rabbit stared back, and all the time their noses twitched. "Why don't you get up and play with us?" one of them asked. "Well, I don't feel like it," said the rabbit, for he did not want to explain that he had no clockwork. "Oh," said the furry rabbit, "it's easy as anything," and he gave a big hop sideways and stood on his hind legs. "I don't believe you can," he said. "I can," said the little rabbit. "I can jump higher than anything." He meant when the boy threw him, but of course he didn't want to say so. "Can you hop on your hind legs?" asked the furry rabbit. That was a dreadful question, for the Velveteen Rabbit had no hind legs at all. The back of him was made in one piece, like a pincushion. He sat still in the bracken and hoped the other rabbits wouldn't notice. "I don't want to," he said again. But the wild rabbits had very sharp eyes, and this one stretched out his neck and looked. "He hasn't got any hind legs," he called out. "Fancy a rabbit without hind legs!" And he began to laugh. "I have!" cried the little rabbit. "I've got hind legs. I'm sitting on them." "Then stretch them out and show me, like this," said the wild rabbit, and he began to whirl and dance until the little rabbit got quite dizzy. "I don't like dancing," he said. "I'd rather sit still." But all the while he was longing to dance, for a funny new tickly feeling ran through him, and he felt he would give anything in the world to be able to jump about like these rabbits did. The strange rabbit stopped dancing and came quite close. He came so close this time that his long whiskers brushed the Velveteen Rabbit's ear. And then he wrinkled his nose suddenly and flattened his ears and jumped backwards. "He doesn't smell right," he exclaimed. "He isn't a rabbit at all. He isn't real." "I am real," said the little rabbit. "I am real. The boy said so." He nearly began to cry. Just then there were the sound of footsteps, and the boy ran past near them, and with a stomp of a foot and a flash of two white tails, the rabbits disappeared. "Come back and play with me," called the little rabbit. "Oh, do come back. I know I'm real." But there was no answer. Only the little ants ran to and fro, and the bracken swayed gently where the two strangers had passed. The Velveteen Rabbit was all alone. "Oh dear," he thought. Why did they run away like that? Why couldn't they stop and talk to me?" For a long time he lay very still, watching the bracken and hoping that they would come back, but they never returned. And presently the sun sank lower, and the little white moths fluttered out, and the boy came and carried him home. So he got to see